That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about Totally Killer, the sophomore film directed by Nahnatchka Khan, which just premiered at the 2023 Fantastic Fest, just prior to Amazon Prime releasing it on their streaming service October 6th, 2023.
Do you know the director's first film?
I'm aware of it, Always Be My Maybe, which starred Ali Wong and Randall Park.
This film, when the infamous Sweet 16 killer returns 35 years after his first murder spree to claim another victim, 17-year-old Jamie accidentally travels back in time to 1987, determined to stop the killer before he can start. What's your pull quote?
A charming homage to 80s and 90s slasher tropes, excels in almost every way outside its rather prosaic lead character, but its zesty energy keeps us invested in this unique sci-fi serial-killing whodunit.
Mine is a thoroughly enjoyable Back to the Future Scream mashup that deserves your attention. I like this movie.
I do too.
It's funny, smart, thrilling. I mean, it's like a slasher film, but more comedic than anything.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the basic story. So, Jamie is played by
Kiernan Shipka,
who I guess is supposed to be 17. I didn't think she looked... I'm trying to be nice, because people didn't like when I called Carey Mulligan elderly and promising young woman. But...
including Carey Mulligan, yeah.
Yeah. But, so she's 17, it's modern day, and she lives in this town where the Sweet 16 murders happened. So 3 girls who were in high school were murdered by this person who stabbed them each 16 times. And Jamie's mom, whose name is Pam, played by...
as an adult, Julie Bowen, who you know probably from Modern Family.
Yes.
Or that classic Jumping the Broom.
Those 3 girls who were murdered 35 years ago were her friends in high school. So she has a lot of trauma associated with that. So she's, I think rightfully so, pretty paranoid about safety. And so on this night, which is the anniversary of their killings, Jamie wants to go out.
It's Halloween.
And the mom is like kind of upset, like you shouldn't do that. But Jamie goes out anyway. And on that night, someone dressed up like the Sweet 16 killer kills the mom.
Which is a mask that looks a lot like, to me, looks like Vanilla Ice, but...
or Max Headroom.
The Max Headroom, that's probably more appropriate.
But, I mean, all of that.
Yeah.
Or one of the Purge movie posters has a mask like that. Anyway, Jamie's best friend, Amelia, she's super smart, into science, and she has developed, like, kind of like she's working on a time machine based on her own mother's, like, scientific notebook. And she has built it in like a photo booth inside of like an abandoned carnival. So Jamie goes to this carnival and she's being chased by the murderer, the person who killed her mother. And that person, when they attempt to stab Jamie, stabs the machine, and somehow that makes the time machine work. So obviously silly. And Jamie gets sent back to 1987, right before the murders occurred. So then it's very much Back to the Future, where she's trying to figure out...
which she directly referenced. She tries to explain herself to the police chief, who's played by Randall Park.
In 1987.
Like, have you seen Back to the Future? I'm like Marty McFly.
Yeah. So she's trying to figure out how she can stop these murders. She's halfway successful. And spoiler, we find out the killer back in 1987 was this guy named Doug. Who in modern time is the principal of Jamie's high school. Why did he kill those girls back then? Because those 3 girls plus Pam, Jamie's mom.
Pam wasn't at the party that this happened.
No, but that group of girls, they were all mean girls. And they used to tease this one girl named Trish, who they would call
Fat Trish.
Fat Trish. And because of the bullying, that girl ended up, they kind of like indirectly are responsible for her death because she was upset, started drinking and driving, and then died. So her Fat Trish's boyfriend, Doug, the now principal, was upset. So he killed those 3 girls. So they're able to kill Doug in 1987 after he's already killed 2 people, I think. But then all of a sudden another killer pops out. So who's that person? So we see in the beginning of the movie, there's this guy named Dupassage. Is that?
Dupassage.
Dupassage?
Chris Dupassage.
He has his like family legacy they're all journalists. But he's like the runt of the litter because the other two have won like Pulitzer.
Well, his dad is a Pulitzer Prize winner.
Right, but then the one just does a podcast. And specifically his podcast is about these Sweet 16 murders. So we find out he's the one who killed Pam in modern time. And he killed her because he needed to keep this podcast going. But he also finds out that old girl Amelia made a time machine, so he goes back to try to stop Jamie, but Jamie's able to kill him basically. And then we see at the end that Jamie, in this new reality, because time travel is explained like a river that flows, and anytime you change things, it kind of works its way in and trickles downstream. So we see that while Jamie was back in time trying to stop the murderer, 35 years passed, and life is a little different because not all the murders happened. So we see Jamie's new life. Her name's not even Jamie anymore. It's Colette, because now she has a gay brother named JB.
Who's older, yeah.
Who's older. But I think the most fun part of it all is at the end, her best friend Amelia, her mother was her accomplice back in 87. So when Jamie shows up now in 2023, Amelia's all grown up as the mom, and she's kept a notebook trying to help Jamie/Colette know how her life has changed.
Mm-hmm. And those are also where we get the end credits explaining where, to us, also what changes happen.
Which usually I don't like those end credits where they try to wrap up where everyone is now, but I actually thought these were very fun.
Yeah, it's cute. It's a very cute and sweet film, despite some of the subject matter.
And I wouldn't mind like another like a sequel where we see like maybe they go back in time again to stop something else, and we go through the notebook, and maybe it's like 17-year-old Colette with the mom who really is like her best friend.
Yeah,
I think that'd be really fun. Mm-hmm. But anyway, what would you like to say?
It was amusing. I don't know. That's kind of about it. I think that the dead space at the center is really Kiernan Shipka, who I've only seen previously. I think she's in Osgood Perkins. Might have been his first film, which came to be known as The Black Coat's Daughter. Oh. So she's been playing a teenager for a while. So has Liana Liberato, who plays Tiffany. She's been playing a teenager since I knew who she was in 2010.
I mean, I know most films featuring like high schoolers, the actors are like well in their 20s. So this is not so out of the realm of what I guess we consider reasonable. But she definitely read as like a grown-ass lady.
Yes.
So that kind of took me out. Also, she's no Marty McFly. She's no
Sidney Prescott.
She's no Sidney Prescott. So she was okay.
I think that the best part is how she's been raised, meeting with the culture clash of the 1980s and all of the problematic things that people were doing with reckless abandon. And I love that her mother is this beautiful mean girl who's kind of hard to deal with.
That was a lot of fun, yeah, seeing Jamie deal with her mom as a teenager.
Like, she's nasty.
Because her mom's not nice. And then because Jamie knows how her mom ends up, she's trying to tell her, like, you should be nicer to your mom.
Which is very like Peggy Sue Got Married when Kathleen Turner sees the grandma.
I did wish that, because it's very obvious when Jamie goes back to 1987 that she's very like, everything's problematic and you can't say that and that's homophobic, that's racist. It was very on the nose. I almost wish she would have been like, she goes back and she's like, oh, this feels really good that you can just say whatever you want. Like something a little more subversive than just the obvious, like, because the school mascot is quote unquote Indian, like a redskin looking animation thing. And of course, in modern time, that's not acceptable. So she calls that out. Or like, yeah, I mean, she calls out a lot of things that I just felt like, oh, it would have been better to play with it a little bit.
It should have been played with a little more, a lot harder. But there are moments that are funny, like when the kid that won't let her into the party pushes her. She's like, oh, unwanted touch.
Yeah, so sometimes it works and sometimes a little grating. I thought the opening was pretty strong because I didn't know what to expect. And I thought it was pretty funny when the one podcaster's going on tour. He gives tours of the murder sites in modern day. And all of the tourists are wearing that creepy mask, and they walk by like a restaurant, and one of the employees comes out to hand them out fries.
Because it's the site of where a murder happened, and now it's a burger joint. Yeah.
And this lady's name is Angie, and the podcaster's like, let's give it up for Angie, who wishes more people were killed.
Yeah, she's like, I don't really see, a serial killer has to kill at least 6 people.
Yeah, like 3 is not enough.
And then stop, yeah.
But it's consistently funny.
Yes. And then the fight scene with Julie Bowen, I think, was pretty good.
Yes. Well, it was very good because we learned before she gets attacked that she's very well prepared. Like self-defense classes. And then when the murderer comes in, she has pistols hidden, pepper spray, and that lady can fight. So I thought that was a very strong start. So Amelia back in 1987, that actor, she's stunning. Correction, I called the mom Amelia, but her name's Lauren. Mm-hmm. So Lauren, back in 1987, that actor.
Leanne Johnson.
I really liked her. She's stunning.
Sorry, Troy Leanne Johnson.
Yeah. She's kind of fun because it's fun because she's kind of nerdy, but then she's so beautiful, which, they can go together. But I just thought that was well done. Although her wig was wigging, I have to say that.
It wasn't the worst.
No. And then we see the mom, Lauren, in like before the whole time travel situation. She seems to, like, her flame has dimmed because she works in, like, it seems like she has a basic job where she works at night in like a manufacturing plant. Uh-huh. So I would love to know, like, what happened that she didn't, like, she's this genius who didn't pursue. So that's why I think I would love like a second movie to learn more about Lauren and,
sure.
and what she's capable of. I think that's all I have.
I like that they're kind of paying homage to Heathers, which is the film that came out after '87, but the Mean Girls are called the Mollies.
Oh, right. Because they all dress like
Molly Ringwald.
Like Molly Ringwald, different versions of her. Oh, I did want to say at one point, Jamie gets like a blood-soaked sample from the killer, and she takes it to the cops. And she's like, here, go find the killer. And he's like, what am I going to do with this? His DNA. And he's like, what's DNA? And she's like, well, I don't know what it stands for, but like it's
everybody has it.
Her trying to explain it was funny, and then the cop is like DMA, like that was well done.
And then the cop's daughter, I think, is a fun character. Because she ends up assuming his position in this town. Yes,
and she's kind of awful. It was. Yeah.
It's cute.
I only have good things to say, really. I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with Kiernan Shipka. It's just like, how strong would this have been if she had been also the navigational force of the narrative?
Sure.
Because it seems like she's just along for the ride to point out everything that's wrong with the 1980s.
What would you give this movie?
3.
I would give it 3.5 out of 5. Anything else?
No.
Hit the thanks button. Listen to our podcast. Bye.